Hello friends, Ben Ochart here. Thank you for tuning in. One of my favorite fish in this 300-gallon aquarium is the Otopharynx tetrastigma. It's a fish that I've had for quite a while, and just recently he started to show a foggy eye that has now become a bit fuzzy and is of concern. Now, when that shows up with your fish, there's usually a couple reasons why it's happening. One, it could be that they rubbed up against something like a piece of decor, a rock, or something like that, and they scored it and got a little mark on it, and that then turned into some type of an infection. Another thing is that they could have gotten into it with another fish and took an injury to the eye, or maybe they became startled in the dark, like sometimes these fish can become startled at night, and darted off, banged into something, and injured the eye. And so there's a variety of factors and reasons behind it. The other one that is can be a culprit is that the water quality is not what it should be, and it makes the fish more predisposed to getting things like infections. I think this fish probably bumped into something, and it just became aggravated. And now no one seems to be picking on him. There's no fin damage, no damage on the side of the body. That would indicate that there was any kind of a fight. I don't really have a lot of sharp objects in the aquarium to rub up against. So I'm thinking maybe he rubbed against maybe some substrate, something, or maybe got into a very fast scuffle that ended very quickly with another fish. But regardless of it, I need to clear it up before it becomes worse and I end up with a fish with only one eye. So the way to do that, there's a couple ways to do it that I have found to be effective, and it just depends on the severity and how hard you want to attack it. The first step is to really give the tank a lot of fresh water, and that means instead of doing maybe once a week or once a month water change, put some fresh water in the tank, perhaps every other day. And my initial water change, where normally would be roughly 20 to 30%, I'm going to do a water change of about 80% on this aquarium, maybe a little bit more, and really replace it with a lot of fresh water. If I don't see a change within 24 hours I'd say maybe a day and a half, if I don't see an improvement in that eye, I'm pulling the fish out, and I'm going to put him into a small holding tank and hit him with some antibiotics. So let's go ahead and get this process started. Let's get some fresh water in here, and let's see how this fish responds. As you can see, the tank is draining very, very rapidly, very well. I'm using the FX6 to drain the tank. This is the FX6 that's running on this tank, and I picked up some 1-inch hose from local hardware store and bought another end piece that's attached here with a metal collar. And so I just put this on here. I lock out the input-outputs while it's running, and then I unplug it, and then I pull out I pull off the output and then replace it with this. This hose runs out the back door of the garage and into the grass area, so it's giving some water to the grass in the back. And then it'll drain on its just normal siphoning. It'll drain out, but in my case, I want it to drain faster, so I went ahead and plugged in the FX6, and man, it is just cranking the water out of the aquarium at a very, very fast rate. So this is a way of just using an FX6 to help drain an aquarium and get the water level down faster. Certainly comes in handy when you have big tanks like a 300-gallon. And I decided while it was draining, I'd give the substrate a little bit of a touch-up, just to pick up any particles that are there, just to make the tank really super extra clean. because it's clean water. It's going to help clear that eye up. And so I want this tank to be as pristine as possible. Well, as it turns out, the substrate was just not that dirty. I kept running the siphon over it over and over again, and I wasn't really picking up much of anything. So I suspect it's because of the high pressure that comes out of those outputs near the top, along with the FX6 output. There's a lot of water being forced to the front of the aquarium, which is then no doubt picking up detritus and moving it towards the intakes of both the sump overflow and also the FX6. I cleaned up the pre-filter on the intake of the FX6, so that's going to be able to absorb waste more efficiently. And I'm taking this level down to 2/3, so I'll have about 200 gallons taken out of this tank. I consider removing the Otopharynx tetrastigma, but that has its own stress associated with it. So I'm going to go ahead and use this technique first of removing 2/3, 200 gallons out of this tank, and replacing it with temperature matched and conditioned water, fresh clean water, and let's see if that shows a marked improvement. If not, I'm going to have to pull a small hospital tank that I have stored under here. I'll have to pull it out and put some of this tank water, maybe a rock or two, some filter media out of the sump into that little tank, and then put the Otopharynx tetrastigma in there and medicate him with some antibiotics, maybe some Maricin, something like that can help with bacterial infections. So wish me luck with that Otopharynx. He's a beautiful fish. I've had him for a long time. One of my favorite fish for a while, actually the boss of the tank. If I can get him in focus here, with all the other fish photobombing. But he stays with his bad eye against the back wall so he can see what's going on. You can't really blame him. Pretty smart, actually. Okay, buddy, I want you to respond to this fresh water and get that eye in top shape. It's got a little bit of a white ring around it. You can see it. Not the worst I've seen, but of concern. A cichlid in a predator tank that loses an eye is at a severe disadvantage. So I'm going to go ahead and start the refilling process of this tank and keep a close eye on that fish. Wish me luck. If you have any tips or experience with dealing with foggy eye, and I'd like to know, comment below. Let me know what meds you've used, whether fresh water was enough to take care of it, and what the outcome was. And we all learn from each other on this channel, and that is always the truth. So thank you so much for tuning in. Hope to see you on Saturday for the Cichlids and Coffee live stream. And if you'd like to support the channel, give the video a thumbs up, hit that notification bell and the like button, and consider joining the Garage Gang. That's the Patreon membership, a way to support the channel for as little as $3 a month. All right, all the details are in the description under the video. Thank you, my friends. You are appreciated, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.